Dr. Lissa was one of the original signatories of the letter that many, many doctors signed that went to the Justice Minister in the UK, and the second letter that has gone to the Foreign Minister, Dr. Lissa Johnson.
Thank you, Mary, and thank you, People for Assange, for bringing so many of us together today to denounce this abomination of a trial about to begin. We will find out, as others have said, whether journalists can expect to go to jail for 175 years for doing their jobs. We're about to find out, in this litmus test case against Julian Assange, whether Australians who upset the US government by telling the truth about it can be abducted across national boundaries without the slightest protection from the Australian government. As if these precedents aren't bad enough, Julian Assange will be standing trial today in the UK, having been subjected to years of prolonged psychological torture, according to the UN Rapporteur on Torture, Niels Meltzer. And I can tell you as a psychologist that that's the equivalent, it's the psychological equivalent of depriving somebody of food and water, breaking them down physically, and then forcing them to run a marathon. And it's no accident that on the eve of this press freedom test case of a lifetime, the man at the heart of it, Julian Assange, has been systematically weakened and undermined in this way, including by preventing him from preparing his defence, which has been part of his psychological torture. Julian Assange is the abused body strung up in town square as a warning to all: keep your mouths shut. So as a psychologist, knowing something about the psychology of atrocity, for about the past year I've been writing about the psychology of Julian Assange's persecution, including the psychological manipulation and smear campaign that's enabled all this abuse. And more recently, as Mary said, I've been a signatory to a series of letters from doctors to governments, including to the Foreign Minister, Maurice Payne, as Greg Barnes suggested we do, and we copied the Prime Minister, Scott Morrison, and the opposition leader, Anthony Albanese. And we've written calling for Julian Assange to be removed from prison and for his abuse to cease on urgent medical grounds. A group of us, now over 100 doctors and some psychologists, have been writing to the UK and Australian governments since November and warning, like Niels Meltzer, that Julian Assange's psychological torture could soon end up costing his life. And it's not a stunt, we're serious. Prolonged psychological torture is dangerous and it can be lethal, and the doctors know that. Governments are playing Russian roulette with Julian Assange's life, and they know it. We've told them in no uncertain terms, as has Niels Meltzer, yet they persist. Today, as Julian Assange's trial begins, governments are still ignoring doctors' warnings, still persisting with their abuse, even as those warnings have been published in the world's leading medical journal, The Lancet. Last week, The Lancet carried our calls to end the torture and medical neglect of Julian Assange and told the story of our unanswered letters to governments. And it's an ugly story in which medicine and psychology have been used as political tools to deliberately inflict politically motivated medical and psychological harm on a journalist for journalism. In The Lancet, we had pointed out that if Julian Assange does die in prison, he will have effectively been tortured to death. And much of that torture will have taken place in a prison medical ward on doctor's watch. This is extraordinary, extraordinary. And governments don't do that to journalists unless they intend to get away with murder and more torture and more abuse. Which is why we must, as others have said, we must fight this extradition like our lives and our children's lives and other people's children's lives depend on it, because they do. It's about the kind of future that we're leaving to them. So I join with everyone here today and the protests all around the world happening today, saying with all our might, free Julian Assange.